So one of the things that is required to live a sane life is to have absolute certainty. There has to be something in your life that is rock solid, absolutely certain, without any doubt, not um, not changeable, not shakable, reliable, dependable, an ultimate absolute truth. Without that, if you don't have that as your bedrock, so then everything is relative, everything is shifting, and we're innately unstable, which maybe is a true description of how we are much of the time in many of our layers. But if there's an anchor somewhere at the core that is absolutely solid, so then we can handle instability and we can handle unpredictability and shifts and ups and downs. We can handle all that as long as there's at the core a steadiness that holds us. And that is what emunah is, faith. Faith is the bedrock, the core, the stable foundation of our life that is unchanging, unshakable. It's always there. Sometimes we're in touch with it, sometimes we're not in touch with it, but it's always there. And so in the mimer that we're going to look at today, the Alter Rebbe is going to speak about that unshakable core of faith and how it can be with absolute certainty. Not something that we think or we feel or we have an inkling of, but absolute certainty. And Alter Rebbe can do this because he had that version of faith. He had that level of faith. So he's sharing with us his faith, his level of faith. The whole definition, the real definition of a tzaddik is somebody for whom godliness is obvious and all other existence is maybe. Hashem certainly exists. Everything else, yeah, maybe. It probably does. But it needs to be proven. The rest of us, the other way around. We see reality exists, the world around us exists. God, okay, I need a bit of convincing about Hashem. That's how normal people operate. Tzaddikim are the exact opposite. Hashem is an absolute, total truth, obvious truth. The world existing, that needs to be explained. How does anything else exist?
Vision, like how is it that they know something?
They're in tune with their soul, and we are less so. The more you see the world from your neshama's perspective, Hashem's existence is obvious. My neshama is a piece of Hashem. That's what I am. That's obvious. When you're in tune with that, that's an obvious reality. When you're less in tune, so you need to be reminded, you need to connect to it.
We're experiencing that throughout our senses.
Well, they are also,
experiencing the world,
but
spiritually, we're experiencing.
Their primary identity is their nefesh elokis, their divine soul. That's their primary conscious self. And then there's also your animal soul and your body, and they also have that. But that's secondary. Whereas we're the other way around. We have to try and reach our divine soul. So Alter Rebbe is going to help us do that a little bit in this mimer. It's from Likkutei Torah, this week's parasha Vaeschanan, and it quotes a verse. It's there on the right side in the middle. Veyadata yom v'shavosel levacha. There's a verse that we say in Aleinu several times a day in our prayers. You should know today, and you should bring it into your heart that Hashem is God in heaven and on earth. There is no other. We quote this in our prayers because this is something we need to actually connect to. You should know today and bring it into your heart that Hashem is God in heaven and earth. There is no other, nothing else. This is something we're supposed to know. Now, the word know that doesn't mean believe, it means know. We should know this. Knowledge. It's different to belief. So Alter Rebbe in this mimer is going to explain the difference between knowing something and believing something. What are we supposed to know? What are we supposed to believe in? Because if we know that Hashem is all there is, what's there left to believe in? What do you need faith for if you know? So we're going to go from where the first I made a little mark there on the page, about 10 lines down. We're going to go from that point. Bir inyan das v'inyan emunah. To explain the concept of knowledge and the concept of faith. Knowing something or believing something. They're two different things. Knowing is it's a fact. It's just a provable, palpable, visible fact. Believing is, look, I don't have proof for it, but I believe it's true. I sense it. I have faith in it. What's the difference between these two things? The Alter Rebbe says, Shem shtei mitzvahs. The truth is, there are two mitzvahs. There's a mitzvah to know God, and there's a mitzvah to believe in God. Ki neksiv da'as l'kavicha. It says in the book of Chronicles, know the God of your father and serve him with all your heart. Know. There's a mitzvah to know. Or the verse that we just quoted, Veyadata, know today. So there's a mitzvah of knowledge. And then there's brackets, and there's another verse that says that they believed in Hashem. That not knowing, but believing. They believed, they had faith in Hashem. And so there are two separate experiences of Hashem. There's knowing him and believing in him. The strange thing is, how could there be two? If you got one, you don't need the other. Or if you've got one, then you can't have the other. Right? If you know Hashem, you don't need to believe. And if you believe, then you're not able to know. You just have faith. And yet we're told we need both. We need to know Hashem and believe in Hashem. How do the two coincide? How do they coexist? So he explains a bit deeper. The next little mark that I made there, we're going from the little right angle. The truth is that what people usually call emunah, faith, which is lahamin mashagosh baruch hu machayes kulam, to believe the fact that Hashem gives life to all of existence, v'hu bares hakol ha'olamus and ma'ayin liyesh, and he created all of existence from something to nothing. That calling that faith, toyim him, is a mistake. Right? If you ask anyone on the street, what does it mean to believe in God? To believe that he exists, that he created the world, that he's in charge of the world. That's what it means to believe. Says the Alter Rebbe, that's a mistake. Shein tzarich lezeh emunah. You don't need emunah for that. You don't need faith that Hashem exists and that he created the world and that he's in control of the world. That does not require faith. That's a waste of the power of faith to use it for there because you don't need it. Why? Because that's something you can feel in a way of seeing. He doesn't say that you can see Hashem or you can see that Hashem creates the world, but you can feel it in the way of seeing, as if you see it, as if it's being experienced with your own eyes, that Hashem created the universe. Even though you can't see Hashem with your physical eyes, so when we look at the universe, we see a universe, we don't see Hashem. But if you think into it correctly, it will be as if you're seeing Hashem. You can reach a level, and here the Alter Rebbe is talking to us, not just him, that we can reach a level where we're looking at the world and we're seeing Hashem, as if we see him, that he's so real, it's something we're witnessing firsthand, Hashem's existence, Hashem's presence. And for something you see, you don't need faith. Faith is for something you can't see, you don't see. He's going to explain. On this concept, on this idea of seeing Hashem, there's a verse, this is in the book of Job, that says, from my flesh, I see God. From my flesh, I see God. And the word is echse, daike. Specifically, I see God. When I contemplate my own flesh, my own physical presence, my own being, I will see God. What does that mean? V'hainu mibsari. And that is from my flesh. Shekmoi b'vsari. Bishvil sheroya chayz aguf v'kiyumoi. Yodeo margish ki nafsho hi boi. Shehi hi amachayas aguf. Just like with your own flesh. You, as you're sitting here right now, you can see that you're alive. You have evidence of your own being alive. And that is that your body is pumping, is functioning. not only you see that, but you feel it. You feel it firsthand. You feel alive. You feel your life. There's a life force in you. Your heart is pumping. Your lungs are breathing in the air. This is something that you're experiencing palpably and firsthand. And that is, what is that being alive? That it's your soul that is giving you life force, that is enlivening the body. It's not the body that's alive, it's the soul that makes the body alive, animates the body. Without the soul, the body's not alive. The body innately is just a piece of flesh. It's when the soul inhabits the body that you're alive. And so you feel that. You're experiencing that right now. And it's actually an obvious fact to you. Without the soul, the body would not be able to exist and live. It couldn't continue. So this is something that we can experience firsthand. So too I can see God. From my flesh I can see God, which is when you look at the universe, which is like a big body, there's a vast distance from Earth till the heavens, but it's measurable. It is finite. The entire universe has an end, has a limit, and that is the physical shape of an entity, of a reality. That's the physical universe. If we look at it, it is like a body. Even spiritual entities, even the spiritual realms, the angelic realms, where the souls inhabit, all of these realms, they all have a physical, not physical, a limited definition. There's this world, there's that world. They have a measure. All of them are like one big body. And in all of that body is the enlivening force of the divine, the infinite light of Hashem that enlivens everything. Like it says in Tehillim, lift your eyes to the heavens and see who created these. See? Look at the heavens and see who created these. And when you get this clearly, this knowledge, this awareness of the life force behind everything is felt as if you see it. It's a reality that's like right in front of you. So what did he do? He started off with our body. As always, the Alter Rebbe always gives us a key to get into deeper understandings with using something that's not very deep, that's very simple and accessible. You're alive. You're sitting here, you're alive, you're breathing, you're alive, you feel that. That's something that anyone can feel and readily be aware of. So maybe we don't think about that. We don't focus on the fact that we're alive. But if we do for a moment, feel that you're alive. What makes you alive? It's not the body that's alive. It's not the heart that pumps. It's the force behind the heart that pumps. It's not the brain that functions on its own. The brain is a piece of flesh. It's the soul that is in the brain that makes it alive. A dead body has a brain and a heart, but doesn't have a soul inside, so it doesn't function. We who are alive have a soul inside us, so we're functioning. I can feel that. I can feel it to the point where if I really think into it and really connect to it, I can see it. Can't see my soul. My physical eyes can't see a soul, but I see the movement of the body, the life force and the system of the body working. I'm seeing the soul at work. So the reality of the soul now is a concrete reality as visible as my body is. Even though I can't see it with my eyes, but I sense it. I feel its reality. That's with my personal experience, my personal being alive. If I then extrapolate that outwards to the entire world, there's also this incredible system going on. Just like inside of my body, there's a system happening all on its own through with this life force that is behind the body. So too, the whole universe is this incredible system where the planets align and the solar system is a system. It's a solar system where the sun is positioned and the moon is positioned and all the planets and the earth relative to that. And it works. Well, like, how does that work? It just works. Okay, yes, you could explain the forces of gravity and this and but like, what just happened to work? The position of the sun is exactly in relative to the earth in such a way that the earth can be warm enough to have life, but not too warm to melt. Like that just happened like that. And the plants on earth need the sun, but some of them need the moonlight and some like it just works like that. Like there's a system going on here. There's a vast, incredible system. The minerals in the ground, like I need them to eat. Like how they just happen to be there, and there's water. Like this is a living being. The universe is a living being. But what we're looking at is just the body, the sun and the moon and the dirt on the ground and the water in the cup is that's the body. This is the physical body. It doesn't work on its own. That doesn't just work as it is. There's a force behind it, a life force behind it. That's the divine energy, the Ein Sof, the infinite light of Hashem, that is pumping existence, that created the system and maintains the system and energizes it constantly. So if I can relate to the one inside of me, the life force inside of me, to the point where I feel it, I know it, I know it's there. I can then extrapolate that to the life force behind the universe and know it's there because it's really the same thing. What is my soul? My soul is God. What is the soul of the universe? God. So if I can see and experience my body being alive, I can see, experience the universe being alive, I'm experiencing God. That doesn't take faith.
Some people look at the world and that is what they see. And some people look at the world and they see it as clearly as someone who looks at it spiritually. They see it's obvious to them that it's not being animated by God.
We have free choice. We have free choice of what we see. And there has to be a plausible deniability in the world, otherwise we don't have free choice. If this would be so obvious that you actually see God, so then there'd be no free choice. That would be the end of it. There'd be no challenge or meaning to our life. It'd just be like, well, it's obvious what we got to do because he's right there. So there's got to be ability to come up with a very sophisticated explanation of how this whole system works without any force behind it. It just happened to be by accident, no purpose, no meaning, no creator. You have to be able to say that and be a reasonable person. But yeah, that's where you need to maybe suspend some rational thinking and have faith, a leap of faith.
Like faith completely aside, because the way that you're describing how the Alter Rebbe says we can see Hashem in the world is a real way that people can see things. But then it's also a real way that people can see things to not see God in the world. And faith is like it's very obvious to them. It is like this.
Right. But if the Alter Rebbe is taking us through a journey of like, how rational is that? How rational is it to say that there's no force behind this universe? Is that actually rational? Does that actually make sense?
I mean, not to me personally, but if you talk to someone who thinks that does make sense to them, like in the way their brain works.
But you can learn to see, to know what you're seeing. So you can learn to really see.
mean, of course, our mind can rationalize anything. That's the power of intellect. It can rationalize the most evil, immoral, false, made up, ridiculous thing. We've seen that over and over again. Very intelligent people, so-called intelligent people, can believe anything. And that's because we do have biases. I mean, this teaching of the Alter Rebbe, it has consequences. If you're going to follow this, so I have a soul, there is a God, it's going to affect my life. Like, I'm going to have to do certain things and not do other things, and like it's an inconvenient truth. So we do have biases that will rationalize this being ridiculous at any cost. And that has to be real as well. Hashem wants that to be real as well. They want that has to be convincing. There needs to be professors of this. There need to be entire books written to prove this wrong that are written by very smart people. Otherwise, again, there's no free choice.
So when we say that we look at our body and from that we see Hashem, is it also that the world is animated, but it's consistent, whereas with the body, there's a time when the soul leaves, so you can see that the force is working, whereas with the world, you don't necessarily have a moment where that recedes, and so like looking at a body, you can see the difference between a body without a soul, whereas in the world, you don't have that sort of experience.
Yeah, or maybe the lifespan is longer. Like, the end of times might be different, but
In our lives.
yeah, yeah, yep. And in a way, that the constancy of nature reveals the divine even more. It never shifts. There's a constant system that doesn't budge. The human being, we're fickle. We can go against Hashem's will, whereas the universe doesn't. So that constancy is a reflection of the constancy of Hashem. So the Alter Rebbe here is offering us a way in to connecting with Hashem's reality that does not require faith. It's a rational, obvious fact that you just see. And you experience it firsthand. We're on the fifth last line of the column. V'zeh lashon echse. That's in that verse we quoted, from my flesh I see God. That's why it says see. I see God, because I see my flesh, I see it's alive. From there I can extrapolate outwards to the body of the world, and Hashem is the life force behind it, just like the soul is the life force behind my body. Therefore, in the holy language, in Hebrew, you can't call that emunah. You can't call that faith. It's an incorrect title. To say that I have faith that Hashem exists and He's the life force behind existence, that's a mistake. It's not faith. Ela b'shem das, that's knowledge. That we know. Ki das hu lashon hakara v'hargasha. The translation of the word das, we translate it as knowledge, but it means to recognize and to feel. There are intellectual experiences where you're aware of an idea. That's not das. Das is not just being aware of something. Das is recognizing it, meaning that it's become real to you. It's an idea that is real, not a theory, not a concept, but it's a reality. And therefore, because it's a reality, you feel it. You palpably feel it in your guts. It's like you have a sense of its truth. It moves you. That's what das means. And this is our awareness of Hashem, our knowledge of Hashem is on the level of das, recognizing and feeling His reality. V'gam das hu hamakas halev. But das also means to concentrate on the idea. Hamakas halev means literally going deep into the heart. Our heart is often used in Kabbalistic writings, not just for emotion, but also for an intellectual awareness of something that you feel it's true. It hits you. Hamakas Adas means that this is not just a concept, a fleeting concept that you are aware of and move on from, but rather you bring it deep into your heart. That you shouldn't be distracted from it. You should never forget it. It should become your permanent, constant awareness that Hashem is enlivening this moment, me, the world, everything that I'm experiencing. It's all Hashem. That is also the meaning of Das. That it should be something you constantly remember and never forget or lose from your heart. It should never fall out of your awareness. Unlike just a passing thought that doesn't really have an effect on you. It says in Halacha that thinking is not like speaking. Speaking is when you externalize a reality, you put it into full words, whereas thought, a passing thought comes in one ear out the other. It doesn't rest. So the mitzvah of knowing God, the Alter Rebbe has now redefined for us. To know God means to know His existence, to know He is, to know He's the source of existence as a fact, to feel it, and to never forget it, to be living with that reality that Hashem is there. Hashem is behind everything. Hashem is the truth of everything. That is the mitzvah of knowing Hashem. So the question then is, where does that leave faith? We said there's another mitzvah of emunah. We use the word emunah, right? Having emunah in Hashem, faith in Hashem. Where is that? So this explains in the next section on the top left. This knowledge and feeling and sensing of Hashem is only really dealing with the level of Hashem's presence called Mamala Kol Almin, the light that fills all worlds. Third line, Aval b'vchinas soiv kol almin, ksiv ani avay shenisi. But on the level of Hashem that is beyond all worlds, on that it says, I, Hashem, have never changed. I'm the same from before creation and after creation. Nothing's changed. Before we get into this, let's just explain these concepts. The Alter Rebbe, almost every single discourse, will speak about Mamala and Sovev, these two different modes of Hashem's interaction with the world, that He fills all worlds and surrounds all worlds. It's a quote from the Zohar that describes Hashem as being filling all worlds and surrounding or being beyond all worlds. What does it mean? That there's a level of Hashem's light that fills the world, meaning that Hashem contracts His light, filters it, so it should be contained and felt and experienced by the world. Earlier, when we were talking about sitting here and feeling that we're alive, what are we feeling when we feel we're alive? What are we actually experiencing when we feel we're alive? We're feeling our soul. And what is our soul? Our soul is a Hashem. It's a piece of Hashem that is within me. My feeling and experience of being alive is an experience of Hashem. It's a divine experience. It happens to be a common one that everyone feels all the time. But the more you're aware of it, the more aware of being alive, and the more aware of what that means, where it's from, you're experiencing Hashem. But that's Hashem as He has filtered Himself into your feeling, into something that you can experience, that you can feel. The very fact that you're feeling Hashem means it must be a limited experience of Hashem. Because Hashem is infinite, you're finite. Your feelings, your capabilities, your senses are all limited. And so if you're feeling Hashem, you're not feeling Hashem's self, you're not feeling His infinite self, you're feeling a finite, contracted version of it. And so that's called the light that fills all worlds. And on that level, we can talk about Hashem as being a creator who creates the world, who enlivens the world, who gives energy. What's He giving? He's giving Himself, His energy, His life. But what level? The level that is contracted and finite in order to fill the world with energy. But it would be a mistake to think that that is the extent of Hashem. Hashem is the batteries of the universe that enlivens the universe. That's just Hashem's light that fills the world. That's his contracted, filtered light. But Hashem himself, he's beyond the world. He's completely beyond being experienced in the world. He's an infinite. Infinite can't be experienced by my finite container, by my finite mind and heart. I can't experience infinity. Doesn't mean he's not there. Doesn't mean I have no relationship with infinity. It's just it can't be felt. A feeling is finite. My brain can only intellectualize an idea that is finite. An infinite concept can't rest in my brain.
So when we do a mitzvah, we're connecting with Hashem's essence. We don't necessarily, or even if we say we have spiritual inspiration when we're doing the mitzvah itself, that is connecting with Sover, but whatever like feelings and that you have around doing that mitzvah, that is limited.
The mitzvah is connected with the essence of Hashem, which is even beyond Sover. The feelings that you have, well, some of that is a part of the mitzvah. The mitzvah might be to do it with love or do it with fear. But if you have a tingling experience from doing a mitzvah, that's good, but that's not infinity. That's finite because you're experiencing it by definition. That's why the Alter Rebbe says that if you do a mitzvah and feel nothing, that's a good sign because you're connecting to essence, to infinity, to that which is beyond. You wouldn't feel anything. Not that the feeling is bad, but it's finite.
It's not as deep as that.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So you began this by saying to have a sane life. That was the first sentence, I think. And what you just said that, well, there's a restriction or a contraction to be able to contain his light. For someone like a tzaddik or a person who's growing or just people who experience life thinking more, not being able to contain thoughts, just there's so many, or hearing many sounds, seeing many things all at once, can lead to this, I think, a sense of insight or like, so it sounds kind of a bit of a contradiction that to have a sane life, to know that there's infinity, it seems like we're learning to reach a point of knowing infinity, of feeling infinity. Is that?
No, that's what he's saying. Not he's saying knowing we can only know the finite expression of Hashem in this world. Infinity can't be known. By definition, it can't be known. Our mind can't grasp infinity. We can say the word infinity, but we don't know what it means. We can't define it. Infinity, it's not defined. Our brain is all about defining things, giving me a definition, a specific description. This is what it is, this is what it isn't. Can't say that about infinity. So our mind can't grasp that level. That's his point. So then that sounds then like all we can relate to is Hashem's contracted finite light that fills all worlds, but Hashem as he's beyond, we can't. But wait. So let's explain what is this level of Sover Kol Almin? What does that actually mean? We're on the fourth line there after the brackets. We say in our davening that Hashem, you were before the world was created, and you are after the world was created, meaning you didn't change. This universe didn't change you. The level of Hashem that's infinite and beyond, this world does not impact, doesn't push him in any direction, it's not in his way. He's exactly as he was before the world and after the world. Nothing has changed. The level of Mamala that fills the world, that's the level of Hashem that is finite and allows the world room. But the level of Hashem that is beyond the world, his infinite self, is not in any way affected by the world. It's just like he was before, so he is now. She'ena begeder almin klal, that he's not within the confines of the world at all. It's only a ray of Hashem's reflection that enlivens the universe. Like we say in the Shema, Baruch, blessed be the name of the kingship of his glory forever and ever. Of the glory of his kingship forever and ever. The name of the glory of his kingship forever and ever. Meaning, like, what's a name? A name is not you, it's just your reputation, the thing that you're called. What is your glory? It's that which exudes off you. It's not you, it's just, and kingship, royalty, influence, power. These are all things that are not you. So before, when we were talking about the universe, and Hashem created the universe and enlivens the universe, sounds amazing. That's a big achievement. That's a huge thing. It's our entire universe, constantly creating and energizing. That's nothing. That's a ray of a reflection of Hashem's light that creates and energizes the universe. This whole big, vast universe is all created and energized by a reflection of a smidgen of the divine light, a name of the glory of his kingship. But he himself is infinitely beyond the whole thing. So when we marvel at creation, we should marvel at creation. But the next step from that is, and that is nothing for Hashem. It's just a ray of his light that enlivens the world. His self is completely beyond. Is unaffected, is untouched by this world. We feel like I'm a little speck in this vast universe. This vast universe is a little speck of nothingness in Hashem's reality of infinity. So it's Shein Kvod Malchusa V'Lo Malchusa Atzma. It's not even Hashem's kingship, it's the name of the glory of his kingship. V'Zeh Omer Razal, Ad Shlo Nivra Olam Hayhu Shmoi Bilvad, Shegam Shmoi Hi Midas Malchusa Hi B'Chines Levadoi. That's why it says in our sages say that before the world was created, there was just Hashem and his name. There's Hashem's infinite self, and then there's his name, his finite expression. And even that finite expression is even beyond us. It was filtered down to be able to, the name of the glory of his name was filtered down in order to energize this world. So after the small print brackets, v'nikrahu yisbarach b'shem soiviv kol almin. So this level of Hashem, the infinite level that Hashem is beyond this world, that is the level that's called that which surrounds all worlds. Not within the world, but surrounding it. Meaning not surrounding like geographically, that he's outside the world, but he's beyond it. He can't be captured by it. She'ena olam is teifsim makom negdoi. That the world doesn't take up space for him. When we spoke before about comparing Hashem in the world to a soul in a body, it's different. There's an element where there's a parallel between our soul in our body and Hashem in the world, and there's an element where it's different. Our soul in our body is impacted by the body. When our soul is in a body, so we're impacted by what the body experiences. That the place you're in, the time you're in, is going to impact your body. If it's cold today, and you get up in the morning and you're feeling cold, that affects your soul, not just your body. Why? Because the cold in your body, you're feeling chilly, it makes it hard for you to concentrate on something and to daven. If you're feeling too hot, have you got a temperature? So then you have to lie down. Your soul is dragged along with whatever the body's experiencing. If you're hot, if you're cold, if you're in this place or that place, the soul is affected by it. Because the soul is invested in the body, and therefore it's going to be dragged by where the body goes and what the body experiences. That's true of our soul and our body. But when you're talking about Hashem in the world, Even though Hashem is down here, just like he is up there, he's in this world just like he's in any world or anywhere. Hashem is not defined by a place, God forbid. And so therefore, high and below, it's all the same. So when we say Hashem is the soul of the world, okay, that's when we're talking about the ray of Hashem is the soul of the world. But Hashem's self is not the soul of the world that's affected by the world, is dragged along by where the world goes. Hashem is infinite and beyond. Let's not mistake the terminology that Hashem surrounds the world as if he's above it, he's above the world. No. Elahu nimtza b'toich ha'olamus. Gamken, he's in the world. Even the level of Hashem that's sovev, that's beyond the world, is in the world. And nevertheless, he's beyond. How do we understand that? To be in it and beyond. It's like there are certain ideas that we can understand in our mind, and that rest in our mind. There are certain ideas that are beyond us. If it's beyond us, so it's not in our mind? That doesn't mean it's on top of our brain. It means that I hear it, I can say the words, but it doesn't rest in my brain that I can absorb it. Like maybe what I'm saying right now. You might not know what I'm talking about. This whole thing we're learning, you might not know what is it? What are we talking about here? We've said ideas, we've said words, we're using the English language that we all speak, and yet there are these ideas that like are a bit beyond. There's some parts that you get, you understand. That's like the light of Hashem that fills all worlds, and there are some ideas that hover around your intellect. They don't sit. You don't get it. We hear it, we sense it, we don't get it. That's sovev. That's what it means beyond, surrounding. That's the light that surrounds the worlds. There's the infinite light of Hashem. Where's the infinite light of Hashem? Is it here? Yes, of course. Hashem's everywhere. Hashem's infinite light is everywhere. There's no place that is devoid of him. He's everywhere. But when we say he's here, but he's not graspable here. You can't experience that light. It's an infinite. So it's not so that it surrounds the world like it's above. It's here. But it's here in a way of aboveness, of beyondness, of that which is beyond what we can understand.
Put these words upon your heart. So surrounding your heart, or
well, that verse is Veyadata. You should know and bring it into your heart. Whereas in the Shema, that there are some ideas that are on your heart, meaning you don't quite understand it, but it hovers there. So why are we talking about something that we can't understand? Why are we discussing this? Why bring it up? Like, it's beyond us. So finish. Like, let's talk about things we understand. Why are we talking about things that we can't understand? That Hashem fills all worlds. If that's all Hashem was, like this the simplistic view of Hashem, he's the creator of the universe. He created the whole world. He gives life and energy, and that's the definition of Hashem. If we leave it there, so that's Hashem that we can relate to, we can understand. In fact, we can know. That's the God that we can know. But then when you introduce, but that's just a ray of a reflection of the name of his glory, of his kingship. That's just a little smidgen of Hashem's light. Hashem's self is beyond, infinitely beyond. He's here like he was before the world was created. It makes no difference to him. Nothing has impacted him. Nothing makes him smaller. Nothing gets in his way. He's beyond. He's here and beyond. Once you get into that, so now we're talking language that our brain, we can say the words, we can agree with it, but we can't actually assimilate the idea into our brain to understand that. We'll skip down to after the small print brackets. Towards the end of the line, the that this level where he's not defined by the worlds and the worlds make no impact or no change in him. On this level, this we cannot understand. We can't know this level. We can't feel it, like experience palpably Hashem's beyondness. By definition, we can't experience it. If we did experience it, we'd be gone. If you experience infinity, well, you're part of infinity now. You're not the finite being you were before. You're gone. There is no brain. It's not that we're not smart enough. And if we were a bit smarter, we'd understand this. If our brain was a bit broader, we would get it. It's not like we just need to expand our mind and we'll get there. There is no mind that can grasp infinity, Hashem's self, Hashem's beyondness. Who could explain to me how Hashem created the world? There was a point where there was no world, and then there was a point that there was a world. He created the world. Yesh ma'ayin, something from nothing. And yet, he hasn't changed. He's exactly as he was before and after. Who can explain that to me? That's impossible for our brain to understand. That we're sitting here, having this conversation, we exist, and there was a time we didn't exist, and none of this world existed. There was just Hashem. And Hashem is exactly the same as he was then. Nothing's changed for him. He's still just him. But we do exist. How's that possible? That can't be. On a rational, logical level, we can't understand that. Hashem's everywhere, all-encompassing, all infinite, so there's no way he's not, and yet we're here. And he's just as here as he was before we were here. The brain cannot compute that. No brain can understand that. And yet that's the fact. That's how it is. And we say it in our davening, and it also makes sense that it has to be that way. Hashem can't change. Infinity can't change. So we don't exist. No, we do exist. Hashem created us. But how can he not change? Now there's us. Like there's him before where it was just him, and now there's him and us. So how did he not change? Just that's how it is. This, says the Alter Rebbe, that's where faith comes in. That's what you need faith for. This we can't know, we can't rationalize, we can't explain, we can't absorb the idea in our brain that it makes sense to us. You need faith for this. Faith is our power to suspend the confines of intellect. To say, okay, I don't need to understand everything. Not everything is understandable. There are things that are beyond understanding. And I can accept that I can relate to it, I can connect to it, not through my brain. My mind connects with information, ideas that are definable, explainable, logical, rational. My soul can connect to ideas that are not rational, and not defined, and not finite, and not explainable. I can connect to that too, but that I need a munah. Like I can't use yediyah, I can't use my knowledge or understanding for that. Lahamin b'Hashem. So what does it mean to believe in Hashem? Shehu yisbarach eina begeder almin. That he is not defined by the worlds, but lefanav k'chashech ka'ora, and in front of him, darkness and light are exactly the same. Existence and non-existence, something and nothing, it's all the same. That's beyond me, but I can believe it. Because of course, Hashem is, he's the infinite one. Like everything we know about Hashem, which we don't really know, makes sense that of course he's the infinite one that is unchanging, that nothing takes any space in front of him. He is the all-encompassing existence. What does that mean? How can I just say that? How can I say that Hashem is the all-encompassing existence? Did I say that? Am I here or not? If I exist, then that doesn't make sense. Emunah, faith is so. In other words, the irony is, we thought that faith means believing Hashem exists. Faith is believing only He exists. Nothing else exists. That you need faith for, because To me, it looks like things exist. And they do. But only Hashem exists. Go explain that. So you see what the Alter Rebbe has done? He's taken what we thought we needed faith for, that God exists and He created the world. That you don't need faith for. That's an obvious fact that you can feel with your own existence. You can palpably experience God's existence. That you don't need faith that He exists, that He created the world. That's the most obvious fact. So what do you need faith for? There is a mitzvah of faith. Faith is a way higher concept, is that only He exists and nothing else. He's unchanging, like the whole universe is nothing in front of Him. That you need faith for. That you can't compute with your brain, because if you did, you wouldn't be here anymore.
Can't even compute the thing that we're not supposed to compute.
Right.
Does Hashem have faith? Because we have to emulate, be like Him. We immunize so important in that.
Yeah, in Modani we say that Rabbi Munasecha, great is your faith. You have faith in us. You gave us another day.
So Hashem has faith in us.
Yeah, which makes no sense, because He knows what we did yesterday, and He has faith to give us another day. That's why it says in the Talmud that in our tefillin it says Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, our faith in Hashem. Hashem wears tefillin too, and his tefillin it says Mi ka'amchi Yisrael, who is like your people Israel, Goy Echad Ba'aretz, one people on earth. Our faith is in Him. He has faith in us. Okay.
His faith is
I hope so. So let's take this down now in a way that we can experience it on a daily basis, on a moment by moment basis. The Alter Rebbe here is giving us an incredible recipe to connect to Hashem at any moment, to connect to that stable, solid reality of the divine. That we can at any moment, no matter what's going on around us, tap in to the most basic experience of being alive. Your life may be complicated, or may be difficult, or may be great, or whatever's going on this particular day and at any particular moment. But you are experiencing being alive. You're breathing. And so experiencing that life force that you're breathing in, you're taking in a new divine energy every time you breathe in. It's Hashem investing that light, the light that's Mamalakal Alman, that fills all worlds. It's filling you as you breathe in. And you feel alive. And every breath is a new life force coming in. And by the very fact that you need to breathe to live is already showing you that you're reliant on something outside of you. The body is not a self-reliant entity. It needs life force to come in and to convert that breath into life force inside of you. There's a whole system going on within your body. There's a whole life happening, an energy that is happening inside of your body every moment to keep you alive. That's your soul. Your soul is that life force that you feel as you're just living your life. And that soul is divine energy that's invested in you, that's enclosed inside of you. So as sure as you are that you are alive, that's how sure you are that Hashem is enlivening you. You know Hashem. And that knowledge you have to bring into your heart. Dwell on it. Connect to it. Fall into the divine life force that is keeping you going, keeping you alive. Feel it, be thankful for it. Now that's real. You're actually seeing it. You're seeing the life force, not with your eyes, but with your heart, with your sense of truth. Hashem's presence is absolute, is fact. And you're a small part in a big system, which is the universe, which is also working exactly as it's meant to. Every interaction you have, every experience you have, every sunrise is all a part of a big system that is being enlivened by Hashem. Just as it's obvious that your body is being enlivened by your soul, it's obvious that Hashem is orchestrating the universe, keeping the system going, moving things where they're meant to be. Sometimes we see why Hashem orchestrates things in a certain way. Sometimes we don't see why, but it's obvious that it's not random. But then we have to take it a little bit higher. That Hashem is orchestrating everything. He's the soul behind everything. But there are still things that worry us, intimidate us. Then we have to go a little bit higher. Say that actually there's nothing but Hashem. There's only Hashem. There's no other force, other entity, other energy. There's nothing getting in the way. There's just Hashem. This reality we can't know, can't understand, but we can believe. That Hashem was, is, and will be unchanged. There's not a world that God created, there's just Hashem. And we have to operate on both these levels, knowing Hashem and seeing Him in our life, and believing in Hashem that's beyond any finite definition. So I know with absolute clarity that Hashem is here with me. And I believe with the depth of my soul that there's nothing else. You ready to come back? This is the unshakable bedrock that the Alter Rebbe is gifting us with the absolute clarity that is unchanging. Whatever else other craziness we're going through, there's a solid core, which is our knowledge of Hashem and our faith in Him.